Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, and of course the brown skinned human coming got you with another cartoon and video game tie-in review. And this time, this is my third Mortal Kombat 3 video game and cartoon tie-in review. Only this time I will only include Mortal Kombat 2, 3, the cartoon, and 4. However, you will only hear video gameplay from Mortal Kombat 3 since I already did a video gameplay version of Mortal Kombat 4 and 2 in my comic book in-game tie-in reviews of those respective videos. Like I said before, like I said in the second part, and in the first part, like I said in the second part, I love the Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm cartoon so much, and I had such a huge problem with my first review. I liked it, but I had such a huge problem with my first review, and I loved my second one so much, I decided to do it again. So with that being said, let's get started right now. Doesn't matter what you think. Okay, everyone, it's time for part 2 of my Mortal Kombat video game and cartoon tie-in reviews. Part 3, the third part of my three-part series. So yeah, with that being said, as you can see by the picture above, we started off with Mortal Kombat 2. Like I said in the webcam portion of this video right here, there will be no gameplay. There will be no gameplay of Mortal Kombat 2. You won't hear that in the background because I already did that in my Mortal Kombat 2 comic book and video game tie-in. So yeah, I just talk about Mortal Kombat 2, and if you see my Mortal Kombat rants, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of Mortal Kombat 2. It's one of the coolest fighting games of all time, but in my opinion, it's also one of the most overrated and weakest fighting games in the Mortal Kombat series. It's overrated because despite the flaws and the criticisms I had with this game was the most popular game of 1993, being one of the biggest box office ever. Even I think it even managed to beat box office various box office movies of that year. I could have sworn I read somewhere that it beat Lion King and several other films that year, and it was one of the biggest hits of '93 and one of the biggest hits to ever hit arcades. But like I've said in previous reviews, I had several problems with the game, and the biggest problem I have with the game is that not only did it make several outrageous changes, but it didn't really change anything or improve upon anything from the very first Mortal Kombat game. You have more characters this time, but it's still the same thing. You select your character, you fight your way through the long tournament ladder, and you beat the boss characters and see what that character um did next. They don't try to connect any of the individual character storylines to one overall big storyline. The comic book that precedes this video game, once again, they just adapt what happens before the game. They don't adapt the entire game. So this game has everything but one of the but an actual story mode or one player beat 'em up mode where you play as the heroes of the game and play the actual storyline of the game. Next, the changes they did make. They made the back kick stronger, which I like the back kick better in the first game. It was more realistic. Unless the person is tired or you have a really strong kick, you're not going to make a person fly halfway across the room with a roundhouse kick. So making the Mortal Kombat action even more unrealistic and more over the top than it was in the previous game. The next thing, making the level fatalities even harder than they were in the previous game. In the previous game, one of the main things I loved about the previous Mortal Kombat was when you fought at the stage level, all you had to do was hold down and do the uppercut, and you'll knock your guy onto the spikes below for the level fatality. One of my all-time favorite fatalities from Mortal Kombat. Here it's extremely hard. You got to put in these long, complex button commands that are just hard to remember. They're easy. They're easy once you take the time to memorize them. But I don't feel like printing up all the pages, printing up the entire pages, what to do the moves again. And I lost the booklets to these games a long time ago. So making fatalities extremely hard. Next, the actual gameplay. Like I said, while the gameplay for the most part remains the same, the computer AI, this game is even harder to beat than the previous Mortal Kombat than the previous game, Mortal Kombat 1. The tournament ladder is even longer. You have to be a huge Mortal Kombat fan to sit up here every day until you get it right, until you finally beat it, to play this long, complex tournament ladder. And to this day, I still have not beat this game. I can't get past the boss characters, and I always struggle with the undercard characters underneath, so I don't have a lot of continues left when I get the boss characters. Or I am lucky and can get past the undercard characters and get to the top of the ladder and fight the boss characters. Um, I end up wasting all my continues on them. I've never beat this game. I've only beat this game once, and that was with a cheat code, an invincibility cheat code, where no matter how many times I get hit, I would not take damage, which allowed me to get flawless victories and beat everyone in the game. It was on the Sega Genesis years ago. That's the only time I've ever beat this game, and and so yeah, the game, like I said, is extremely different. One of the many good things about the game was this will be the last appearance of some of the original Mortal Kombat cast. Hosam Pak, Elizabeth Malecki, I think that's her name. Elizabeth Malecki, Sonya Blade, um, yeah, like I said, Sonya Blade, and of course, Son, hold up. Sorry, I got distracted by something on my computer. Oh yeah, Daniel Pacino, who got in trouble for posing, the actor who portrays Johnny Cage and the ninjas, he got in trouble for posing for another game called Bloodstorm, another fighting game called Bloodstorm, I think. And as punishment, he was fired from Midway, and he had his character, and they had his character, of course, killed off. They had his character, of course, killed off. He would later show up in Trilogy with a brand new actor, Johnny Cage. But this will be the last appearance of the original Mortal Kombat cast. Certain members like Carlos Pacino, the brother who portrays Raiden, and Richard DeVizio, who portrays Kano and Baraka, they would stay employed with Midway for a little bit longer. And the other guys would leave. The other guys and girls would leave because of a pay dispute. Other cool things were it continues the storyline from the first one. Having won Mortal Kombat, Shao Kahn proceeds to execute Shang Tsung for his failure, but Shang Tsung convinces him to give him one more chance, and have the and lure the Earthrealmers here to Outworld for a new type of Mortal Kombat tournament. If Shao Kahn wins, he can invade Earthrealm. However, if he loses this time around, he has to abandon his claim to Earthrealm forever. So um this time Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, and Jax, who received a distress signal from both Kano and Sonya, and has come to rescue both of them, enters the tournament. Kung Lao joins the tournament to help Liu Kang avenge his Shaolin brothers who were killed by Baraka's Turcotan horde, and Johnny Cage just gets pulled back into it. Sub-Zero comes to finish the original Sub-Zero's mission of assassinating Shang Tsung and learn more and avenge the murder of his brother's death at the hands of Scorpion. And Scorpion returns to assassinate the new Sub-Zero, but comes to learn that it's not the original Sub-Zero, and decides in atonement for killing his brother becomes his personal guardian. While it's not known who fought who, Liu Kang Liu Kang defeated both Kintaro, Shang Tsung, and Shao Kahn a second time. Shao Kahn a second time to once again save Earthrealm from Outworld. Like I said, I decided to include this game in the Mortal Kombat series, in the Mortal Kombat cartoon and video game review, because even though the cartoon, which I'm about to talk about now, even though the Mortal Kombat cartoon, of course, is based on Mortal Kombat 3, the events of Mortal Kombat 3, it's actually based on it actually features material and storylines from 2, such as in Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, Shao Kahn has not invaded Earthrealm yet. Instead, he uses other fighters to invade Earthrealm, to invade and conquer Earthrealm for him. For him. If the show had continued, I'm pretty sure in season 2 he would have finally enacted his plan of resurrecting Sindel and invaded Earthrealm anyway. But that's why I included this game here in this review right here, even though the events of the cartoon are based upon Mortal Kombat 3. So, with that being said, let's get to the next game in the series. Mortal Kombat 3, which I am playing right now. I have it paused. I'm Cabal. I'm playing on the novice level, facing. I beat Jax and the mirror match Cabal. Now I'm fighting Nightwolf. Before starting this review, I just earlier finished the master level with the unmasked Sub-Zero. With that being said, let's start Mortal Kombat 3 right now. Like I said, Mortal Kombat 3 is one of my all-time favorite games of the series. And I consider it one of the best and the second best, right after Mortal Kombat right after the original Mortal Kombat 1 from the 2D base trilogy. I like several enhancements they made to the game, such as the killer and deadly combos, the brutalities, which of course are based upon the Killer Instinct fighting game, which was 1 year before this game right here. This game right here. Um, I also like the brand new fatalities. They have the babality, the funniest fatality. They have the brutality, a killer combo where you beat the guy literally to death to the point where he explodes into a bunch of skeletons. And of course, the best fatality, my all-time favorite. And I love how they incorporate this into the Mortal Kombat Annihilation movie, and that is of course the animalities where you turn into an animal and viciously maim and kill your opponent. Then of course, returning characters of course are Liu Kang, Sonya, Jax, um, Kung Lao, Kano, um, Kano, and yeah, these are the return. And of course, if I didn't mention her already, Sonya Blade. New characters include Sindel. Oh yeah, and of course Sub Zero, the unmasked. Only this time, since there are no ninja characters in this game, he has the new look consisting of suspenders and the signature red scar, the signature unmasked look, which is my all-time favorite, which is one of my all-time favorite incarnations of Sub Zero. So yeah, um, let me continue. I got distracted on my game. I just recently lost to Kano and got his animality finisher. But yeah, so yeah, the unmasked Sub Zero, new characters include Sindel, the cybernetic ninja, Smoke, returning from the previous game. Only this time he's a bad guy and a cyborg and a playable character via cheat code. Cyrax, the yellow cyborg, and of course Sector, the red cyborg, and the most evil of the three cyborgs, and of course from the good guys, Nightwolf, the Indian shaman, um, Cabal, the Scar Black Dragon, remember, who leaves the Black Dragon and decides to join the good guys to get revenge on Kano for revenge on Kano and Outlaw for viciously scarring him, and of course um Curtis Stryker, the police officer, the most hated character in the game, which I'm gonna get to later. Um, Also, and of course, as a sub boss, Motaro makes his debut. The Centaur warrior makes his debut in the video game, and returning from the previous game, Shao Kahn as the final overall boss of Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. There are three versions of Mortal Kombat 3. I consider this version right here to be the best version. It's the most consistent. It's the most consistent, and when it comes to storyline, and it has a more balanced cast of characters in comparison to its sequels. In comparison to its sequels. Um um when this game came out, despite selling well commercially, it got a mixed reception amongst fans. A lot of people hated this game for its extreme difficulty and its omission of popular characters like Scorpion, Kitano, and Johnny Cage, and rated in favor for newer ones like Cabal, Nightwolf, Sindel, and of course Stryker, he got the most hate. A lot of people hated the fact that was a police officer was featured in a world full of cyber criminals, warriors, ninjas, sorcerers, warlords, etc., etc., and of course Shaolin monks. Of course, I always loved Stryker because he was one of the strongest, and him being a cop who had no real powers but was physically strong always helped him stand out made him stand out compared to the rest of the cast. I was a huge Striker fan before they made Striker cool in Mortal Kombat 2011. 2011. I thought he was much cooler here than he was in Mortal Kombat 2011. So yeah, as always, storyline is Shao Kahn fed up with Shao Kahn, ashamed of his previous loss and dissatisfied with constant losses in Mortal Kombat, decides to enact a 1,000-year-old plan. He has Shang Tsung and his priest resurrect Sindel, and he opens a portal and strips all the humans of their soul and begins merging Outworld with Earthrealm. It's now up to 7 warriors you see right here, the good guys right here, to oppose him. Everyone has their own reason for participating in the great Mortal Kombat 3 battle, but the storyline mostly revolves around Liu Kang, and Sub-Zero, who Liu Kang wants to free Kitana's homeworld from Shao Kahn, and of course save Earthrealm once again, and avenge the defeat of his best friend Kung Lao, who gets horribly injured by Shao Kahn, and and um and of course Sub-Zero is marked for death after escaping the Lin Kuei. Lin Kuei begins cyberizing the entire clan, and Sub-Zero and Smoke escape. Smoke is not so lucky; he is captured and automated, and Sub-Zero is escaping now, must face his best friend, who is programmed to hunt him down and kill him. He wants to regain Smoke as an ally, and help him in the battle against the other two cyborgs, and of course Shao Kahn, which he succeeds in doing. And there's every other character and there's backstory, their reason for entering the tournament. Um, yeah, like I said, when this game came out, it got a mixed negative reception. So they made an update called Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which I consider the weakest in the series. This is the weakest and worst in the series, but I still enjoy this game too. This is my third favorite of the Mortal Kombat series. They brought back the ninja characters, including for both the females and the males. They brought back Scorpion, Human Smoke, Reptile, newcomer Rain, and of course one of my all-time favorite characters in the game, Ermac. For the females, they brought back Jade, Melina, Katana, and yeah, for the female ninjas. They also, this game, one of the other things I liked about this game was they brought back Striker, who they brought back from the previous game. They made his gun playable. They made his BB gun playable in this game. You can actually shoot people. That was one of the coolest things I thought about this game in this update trilogy. What I didn't like about this game um got rid of due to cartridge and disc constraints. They got rid of the what else? Oh yeah, they got rid of the storyline cutscenes, the storyboard cutscenes from the previous game, Mortal Kombat 3. Shang Tsung, due to his morphing ability in load times, he does not appear in tournament mode. Despite the fact he's one of the biggest antagonists of the game. And I love facing him. Um, and of course, they made the tournament ladders even harder. Not only adding 2 more, but also adding an endurance match from the very first Mortal Kombat game. And so yeah, that's what I didn't like about Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Then they made the final version, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which was an anniversary of the game, and the final Mortal Kombat before they dusted off and tried something new, which was took a break from Mortal Kombat and tried something new, which of course would be Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat 4, but I'm gonna get to that later. Still, this Mortal Kombat trilogy brought back every character in Mortal Kombat, including the classic versions of Johnny Cage. I mean, not Johnny Cage, but Jax, Raiden, Kung Lao, and Kano. They also brought back characters Johnny Cage with a new actor Chris Alexander, and of course Baraka. They also made in the PlayStation version. They made the boss characters playable. They're playable in the N64 version too, but they're playable via cheat code. And the PlayStation added a new rainbow colored ninja as a hidden character named Chameleon, and the N64 version added a female grayish ninja named Chameleon, who's part of Reptile's Raptor race. As you can hear, I just lost. Game over. And this game made the gameplay even more quote unquote difficult. This game made the gameplay even more quote unquote even more difficult than the previous game. It's even harder on the N64 version where after you lose all your continues, you have to put in a combat code to continue. I can never put in the right code. And the N64 version is the only version I haven't beaten. I've beaten the PlayStation CD and Sega Saturn versions many times because of unlimited continues. They also made an emulated version called Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which made every character from Mortal Kombat 1 all the way to trilogy playable. Even some characters from Mythology Sub-Zero appear in this game, including a new character I think named Hydro. Yeah, that was Mortal Kombat trilogy. Mortal Kombat trilogy is my second favorite of the series, with the PlayStation N64 version being awesome. The PlayStation, because it's a disc, has more content and is much easier to beat. The N64 version, I like it. It graphically looks better, and what else? Oh yeah, it feels like the arcades, which I was never able to beat Mortal Kombat when it was an arcade, and the N64 version feels like the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which I was never able to beat. Mortal Kombat 3 was so damn popular that they created a cartoon series which aired from early to late 1996. Like I said in previous reviews, this cartoon right here is one of my all-time favorite cartoons. I watch a couple of or all the episodes a day. This cartoon had a mixed to negative reception. Either you like it or you don't. Some people like it. Some people, of course, didn't. This cartoon was hated because of its lack of
He just risked his neck to help us.
its lack of violence. But that never bothered me, because if you know the backstory of Mortal Kombat, none of the violence and fatalities and blood you saw were canon. They were all just there to make the gameplay much more fun and exciting for the enjoyment of the viewer. In Mortal Kombat 1 through 4, you had all this death and violence. Yet the only character to actually die in the series was Sub-Zero. And characters who actually did die, they would always come back in later games. Like I said, this game is based on the events of Mortal Kombat 3, but it's a sequel to the first film, and it features elements from Mortal Kombat 2, such as Shao Kahn has invaded Earthrealm. Yeah, and the whole series has Sub-Zero, Liu Kang, Jax, Stryker, Sonya, Kitana, Raiden, and Nightwolf working together to defend Earthrealm from various villains such as Sector, Cyrax, and Smoke, the cybernetic ninjas, the Lin Kuei, Ermac, Shao Kahn, Shiva, Kano, and many more, who are all trying to invade and conquer Earthrealm for Shao Kahn, who can't invade Earthrealm. I just finished the first episode. Now we're on the second episode, Sting of the Scorpion. I like all the episodes of the series, all of my favorites, with episodes 4 through 13 being the best, followed by 1, 2, and 3, with 3 being the best, followed by 1 and 2. So, yes, the best episode of the series is widely considered to be Mortal Kombat 5, Old Friends Never Dies, where it focuses on Sub-Zero's backstory from the game, from helping his cybernetic friend Smoke recall his humanity and help him defeat the other cybernetic ninjas, Sector and Cyrax, and Oniru, a shape-shifting Lin Kuei master specifically created for this cartoon. That was widely considered the best episode. Another awesome episode was Cabal's episode, where Cabal is extremely close to his Mortal Kombat 3 storyline, with him being viciously scarred by Outworld and then deciding to leave, to go underground, leave the Black Order member, and join the Mortal Kombat cast in their fight against Shao Kahn. However, he still chooses at the end of the episode to dwell underground. He had the saddest and most tragic backstory, alongside the character Ruby, who is pretty much a stand-in for the character Jade, who I never understood. Jade was kind of created around this time. I don't know why she wasn't included in this cartoon.
Give me a break,
right here.
Jax. You know I can't fight your battles for you.
This cartoon was a cross between Mortal Kombat 3 to
But for now, in a nutshell, if you
Street Fighter
humans are going to
2,
save your
the
mortal
animated
butts, you've got to learn to protect
and
yourselves
Dragon Ball
and
Z
your
and
planet.
various Japanese animation. 13, which was the final episode of the series, went out with a huge bang, where they have extremely upgraded Madhouse style Japanese animation, man. So yeah, now let's talk about the action. The characters have their fighting maneuvers, have their special maneuvers, and the fast-paced combos and low kick from the Mortal Kombat 3 video game. And there's non-stop action, just like the video game, from beginning to end. Next was voice acting cast. Voice actors like Ron Perlman, Clancy Brown, and the late Luke Perry, who passed away earlier this year, are all featured in this cartoon right here. This cartoon has all-star powered voice acting cast, and one of the best voice acting casts in the 90s. What else about this awesome cartoon? Oh yes, this cartoon also provided the debut of the character Quan Chi, who would later become the main antagonist of the next game, Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, and will be one of the main antagonists of the next game, Mortal Kombat 4.
Your family seems to have some unpleasant history with Scorpion.
All the characters from Mortal Kombat 1 through 3 appear, with the exception of Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, and Kintaro. Johnny Cage and Kung Lao, I hate the fact that they were in the series. Kintaro, I really don't care much for. What else about this video game? What is about this cartoon? Oh yes, it has also some of the best rock and roll soundtrack music I've ever heard in a 90s cartoon, reusing music from the previous Mortal Kombat movie. What else about this cartoon? And oh yeah, the adaptation. And outside of the video games, I consider this and the comic books to be the best adaptation of Mortal Kombat, followed by the movies. But this is way better. This is a much better adaptation. It's even closer to the Mortal Kombat
Sounds like you have a
to the Mortal Kombat mythos. Well, this has been my review of the Mortal Kombat cartoon. Now it's time for the next game, in the final game in the series, Mortal Kombat 4. Mortal Kombat 4, like I said in the webcam portion, because I already had, and there won't be any gameplay in the background of Mortal Kombat 4 because I already did this in my Mortal Kombat 4 comic book and game review. So there will be no, but Mortal Kombat 4 I consider to be one of the best Mortal Kombat games of all time. This was the first 3D Mortal Kombat game. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I've said it twice and I'll say it again. You know how awesome it was walking into an arcade in 1997 and seeing the characters, the Mortal Kombat characters, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Liu Kang, Raiden, Jackson, Sonya, all walking around and talking to each other and interacting with each other in a full-length 3D environment. This game, the story, action, gameplay modes, it has the most gameplay modes with an arcade mode, versus mode, endurance mode, tournament mode, and a theater mode where you can watch the characters' endings. Speaking of endings, when you beat the game, you get to see that character's CGI computer-generated ending with voice acting and everything. With voice acting and everything. It was one of the coolest things ever, and it's also one of the darkest games in the series. And I also love the use of motion capture technology versus live action actors in the previous series. You can they choreograph more martial arts. This is where the idea of having multiple styles came in, and characters finally having different, distinct fight styles, despite the fact every character plays the same. They also added a weapon style, even though it sucks that when you get hit, you drop the weapon. But there is a cool combat code where you can have a full-length weapons combat. Characters returning are Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Raiden, Jax, Sonya, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero from the previous game. And of course, Goro makes his triumphant return as a sub-boss. New characters include Quan Chi, Shinnok, Jarek, Tanya, Kai, and Fujin, the God of Thunder. Also, Reiko is another newcomer, and hidden characters include the worst Mortal Kombat character, a red bloody skeleton, and of course, Noob Saibot returns in this game too. However, he doesn't have an ending in this game.
Or should I say,
and
pieces?
And the gameplay is an updated 3D version of Mortal Kombat 3 and the Street Fighter EX series, and of course Killer Instinct. Which was the very first Killer Instinct and Donkey Kong Country, the very first 3D games I played besides this game right here. This video game also got me interested in other fighting games like Soul Calibur and Tekken, full-length 3D fighting games, and I consider one of the best ever. It was hugely popular, but Mortal Kombat was such a relic of the past at this point. It was overexposed. No one cared for it. But this game sold well and was extremely popular, even though some people were disappointed that it didn't play like the other Mortal Kombat games at the time. They didn't play the other 3D games at the time. They also had an update called Mortal Kombat Gold for the Dreamcast, which received negative reviews, but this game had much better visuals, added characters like Cyrax, Sector, Kung Lao, Melina, and Baraka returned in this video game. I'm not going to talk much about this because I've only played the PlayStation N64 and arcade versions, and while I've done better, I've never been able to beat the arcade version, but I beat the PlayStation N64 version various times. It was during this video game that gave me the skill to actually play Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat. So, yeah, this has been my review of Mortal Kombat. The only thing I hate about this thing is, once again, it's missing a story mode, and it's missing a story mode that connects all the characters to one overall story. But this right here is one of the best Mortal Kombat games in the series. I like fighting everyone with the exception of Sonya Blade, and the bad guys the most, who are the characters you actually fight.
think
So,
before you leave.
yeah, this was one of the best Mortal
No,
Kombat
happy.
games of all time. Yo, this has been my
What
review
impossible to
of,
exterminate Ghost Ninja is
of
bad
my
enough.
third Mortal
Oh,
Kombat
Army?
video game
So what's next?
cartoon
Oh, so unhelpful
tie-in.
one?
If you don't want to hear the rest of the music, turn the
Scorpion
video off
and
right
his
now.
cadavers belong in the
All
realm
right,
of lost souls.
I'm done.
If you can get him into the portal, I'll handle the rest.
He means the easy part.
You follow Scorpion and stop him. Scorpion will probably put out your coach. Remember me? I'm the guy that's power this way. You're on the other.
Yeah, so what's new? You're wasting time. You heard the ninja. You can't believe this. Me chasing dead guys from dimension to dimension.
When they start chasing us, that's when we gotta start worrying.
Lady is right. Oh, that's great. Everyone in this